I have been elevated from the last time I was here. Last time I was down there. This is nice. And oh, it's just so wonderful to be here. Don't worry, I won't be reading to you, but I have to keep my notes to stay on track. So anyway, I came from Asheville, and oh, it's just a beautiful drive. The last time I was here, the colors were out, was during the fall. So this time the promise of spring is in the air, and in exactly 13 minutes it will be official and spring will spring. So 11:33 is the time. So the wonderful thing about spring, of course, is that we are getting to a point where we can enjoy getting together, doing things outside, not wearing our masks as often. I still do when I'm not sure about if people are vaccinated or not, because we now have another one of these nice things on the horizon. But we are protected, and we now expect to really have a wonderful springtime. So I heard just a couple of days ago that my friends, the Lone Ranger and Tonto, were getting spring fever, and they decided to go camping. So the Lone Ranger and Tonto went camping. Very important. After they got their tent all set up, both men fell sound asleep. Some hours later, Tonto wakes the Lone Ranger and he says, "Kimosabi, look towards the sky. What do you see?" And the Lone Ranger replies, "I see millions of stars." "What does that tell you?" asked Tonto. The Lone Ranger ponders for a minute, and then he says, "Astronomically speaking, it tells me there are millions of galaxies and potential billions of planets. Astrologically, it tells me that Saturn is in Leo. Time-wise, it appears to be approximately 3:15 in the morning. Theologically, the Lord is all powerful, and we are small and insignificant. Meteorologically, it seems we will have a beautiful day tomorrow. So what does that tell you, Tonto?" "Oh boy, you're dumber than a buffalo, because it means someone stole our tent." I thought that was so precious. I just had to share that with you. And now last weekend, we already set our clocks forward, and we're just enjoying the beautiful weather. And along with all of this and things getting better, at least in our own little world here, I'm beginning to have some expectations. And I have to share with you the reason for the topic. Was these last Winter Olympics in Beijing. I had been watching all the preambles to it, and there is a downhill skier that I like named Michaela Schifrin, and there was such a hype, such expectations about her winning. Oh, she can win 5 or 6 medals, and she was ready, and there's just huge hype. And I always have sort of a human let's wait and see attitude, and she actually did not do very well. And that has happened to other sports personalities before. We're aware of that. And I think sometimes too many expectations on people like that creates great stress. So I was interested in the word. I can actually see this without my glasses. Isn't that amazing? So I looked up the word expectations because it was just used a lot. And I like the Revealing Word by Charles Fillmore because it gives us a metaphysical interpretation of what certain words mean. And it says, expectation is anticipation of divine good, looking about for the wondrous benefits God has prepared for us. In every person is that which causes him to always hope for and to expect, which is good and true. This very expectation helps the good to become active in our lives. So, interesting. Now, children are raised with big expectations. The parents, the grandparents, everybody, as soon as the baby's born, there's a college fund. There are huge expectations that are placed on children. Now, this also works the other way around, because when we are children, we have expectations of what is to come. We also have expectations of, oh boy, I see what's going on, but this is not what I expected. Like, if I'm really good, mommy and daddy will stop fighting. If I'm really good, everything will be all right. And we wake up to a harsh reality sometimes as children, many children do. And I think you all know examples about that. And that is the critical time when our self-worth develops. And we can either, as parents or influencers, which is the new word, we can give children a wonderful and healthy sense of self-worth, or we can completely destroy their self-worth and their self-confidence. And then you're just left with a puddle that has to be rebuilt. And so childhood shapes our expectations, and we take that right along with us into adulthood and our relationships with work, with friends, with spouses, and eventually again with our own children. And as we kind of come closer to taking the right to think who we really are, we know that some changes have to be made. Something has to give. Carl Jung, which all of you know, big psychologist, he said, most of us don't have permission to live our own lives. This can't be given, it has to be taken. Whoever fails to adapt to that principle must pay with damage to the soul. And that means that negative feelings and experiences are created by allowing thoughts about what we lack and what we don't want. Okay, it's because if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. We know examples about that too. Now, on the opposite side of the coin, where we want to flip the coin, is if you focus on what you do want, you will attract whatever you want. And Carl Jung also said the later years in life are often expressly for the fulfillment of character. So you see, there's hope. At any point, you can begin again. And in adulthood, it is so important that we realize that we are an individual expression of God. And we need to discover our authentic self and know that we have the right to all good things. And like Bill was reading this morning, be aware of the kingdom is right there. God gives us the tools and the words, that things that we understand as words. It is there. And we need to just grab it and put it in a very positive place in our mind. And then we can have a great expectation of any situation. Now, there's also another important point is that if we can, we need to surround ourselves with positive people, with positive influences, and kind of try to be as positive as we possibly can. And that's easier said than done. It doesn't always work, that's for sure. Now here in my wonderful library, I saw The Law of Attraction, which is a wonderful book. Many of you are familiar with it. And the Law of Attraction gives us some good guidelines on how to be a magnet to create our good. There's a segment on deliberate creation, which is a whole other talk, but it can be mastered by anyone. It's very simple. I will give you that secret. Simply by reminding yourself of all the good that you want to attract, because you deserve it. And we have the tools. We just have to get our act together and make it work. So many different ways that can be done. And also the law of attraction also says competition. Now, as adults, we have those Olympic competitions occasionally. So it says about competition, it can serve you because it stimulates your desire. It can bring a disadvantage if it hampers your belief in succeeding. Find a way to have fun in the competition. Look for the advantages it brings, even if you do not bring home the trophy. And as you feel good, no matter what, you win one of the greatest trophies of all. You win connection, you win clarity, you win vitality, you win alignment with your inner being. And in that attitude, you will bring home some trophies. They may be a little different, but they're trophies. Winning or not, positive expectations, we can choose our own reality and the positive experiences that we want to have. We can choose simply by keeping them in your mind and in your heart. And if you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts and scenarios, just think, begin again, release that negativity and change the scenario and think big. Begin again. That is a great, powerful statement when we need to climb out of a negative scenario. There's a proverb, and I think a variation of that is in the Old Testament. It says, an arrow aimed at an object high in the sky will land much higher than if aimed at eye level. Somebody told me that when I was in high school, and it got me through college. I'll say it again. An arrow aimed at an object high in the sky, think of yourself as an archer, will land much higher than if aimed at an object at eye level. Okay. Aim high with your expectations in life, and there's no time like the present to make any needed change to go along with those expectations. And as I said, that is not easy. Sometimes that takes courage, it takes guts, it takes whatever you need to do to make that change. And the reason that we sometimes need to get off center and make that change is deeply embedded in the following beautiful Chinese proverb. Man stands with mouth open for a long time before roast duck flies in. So there's the crux of it, right? we can stand there, I'm ready with our mouth open. And then Grandma said, God helps those who help themselves. She just said it in another way. And I do know that that takes a lot of courage, but we have to believe in ourselves, and we have to remember that we are those wonderful expressions of God, that God doesn't make junk, that we are perfect just as we are, and we have the right and we have a way to create our perfect environment and situations by changing our expectations to great expectations. Charles Fillmore says, hope is the expectation of good in the future. So hope is a very important supportive component of expectation of good in the future. So along with the expectations, now we're going to talk about the tools a little bit that will help us to actually get there. So hope, very important. And I think the very first baby step out of a weird negative situation would be to say, I hope this guy does not hit my car. It's to put it in form of a hope statement. And from there we can go on. He also says that faith is a certain knowledge that our good is ours right now. It is of God and it goes beyond time and space. We trust that the universe is unfolding as it should and everything is in divine order. I read a book by a self-help guru named Katie Byron, and the one thing that hit me right on the first page was, she says, our most intimate relationship is the one with our mind. I was like, wow, you know, I'm alone with my mind. It's heavy if you think about it. The mind is like a child. It believes what we tell it or what we retain from the past. But we have the power to stop any self-abuse or doubt of our self-worth, because if you don't, then it's an argument with the past in your mind. So at that point, we use that idea of begin again. I have hope that everything's fine, and we can begin again. We can believe negative stuff and suffer, or we can get real and know our true self. Imagine if your energy was not taken up with stress and worry, what you would be capable of and what you could accomplish. And I think I want you to think about this. Reality is always much kinder than what you think about it. Or memories. It's in the past. And I thought about the book, and I remember the statement that whatever we worry about, very often it doesn't come to pass, or it's not as big or as bad as we think. It's just a matter of getting through that period of time of that realization. And sometimes you think about what people think or what people are doing, and you know, those people have already moved on and think about something else, and they're not worried about what you said or what you do or if you embarrassed yourself. Those things are kind of like, oh, and you repeat it inside. And we need to let it go and begin again. So erase, erase. I use that a lot. Erase, erase, and then begin again. Now we have other tools, and many of you are familiar with a treasure map or storyboard or whatever you would like to call it. And that is a very good supportive tool. I have one on the back of my bedroom window door, and it has pictures of it, of certain things that I want, that I still want. I've taken a lot of them down. So you want a visual that helps you to visualize as you look at it every morning, ideally, and along with the pictures. You can put affirmations. Today is the best day ever, or whatever you like. We all have positive affirmations that work for us. So I have a few of those. I also have some deposit slips on the back of my door with some zeros on it. So there's so many different things that we can do visually, and then add that affirmation in writing, and then of course a verbal affirmation is just so powerful. And gratitude goes along with all those affirmations. Thank you for a wonderful day. Thank you for a safe drive. When the phone rings, I say, thank you for good news. Also, these days you have to ignore it because it's one of, yeah, robocall. Thank you. I don't even know the words. I don't let it in my mind. Or if I go to the mailbox, also there's no, everything is done electronically, but it's still, you get the idea when you're anticipating something, and just thank the universe for good news and good performance ahead of time. Today, I only expect good news in my life. Oprah Winfrey said, today I will give myself the best life ever. I deserve it. Excuse me. The deserving part is interesting because sometimes, no, I'm good. No, that's Bill's, mine. Oh, okay. No, I think.
I put that there for you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. Oh my God, just take that one. I'll open this one. Thank you. Sorry about the intermission here. I deserve that water, right? So the part with the deserving, when you get pretty good at turning your expectations with the proper tools into a manifestation. The last time I went to see Eddie, she might get mad at me for saying that. Her driveway is such a mess. My old car was a mess when I got home, and it was about to fall apart anyway. And then the transmission gave out, but I was very determined. The old Dodge, I was so determined to drive it to 200,000 miles. I got close, 192. Oh. And then the transmission gave out, and I never had a problem with that car. Never, ever. Best car I ever had, 22 years. So, but I was ready because Dave and I had been talking about, oh, we should look at a new car. And then this whole situation came up with COVID, where they said the used cars are more expensive than the new cars and all that. And I said, well, we can kind of think about it because I know what I want. And I knew I wanted a Honda CR-V all-wheel drive. And I said, I don't want white and I don't want black. I was pretty specific. So I got a brochure, I cut out the picture, and that was about 3 or 4 months before he died. And so when this happened, I was ready to go to the Honda dealer, and I got the car, and everything went just wonderful. And sitting in the garage, and the next morning I came out and I was like, oh, I looked at the car and it just took my breath away. And my first thought, I could hear my mother. I thought, do I deserve this? I did. See how I can slide back? So then I said, erase, and I worked on that. And now when I see the car, just say thank you. because I know I deserve it or it wouldn't be there. We have to realize that. So even with the deserving part, we can work with expectations. And out there sitting on the four wheels is proof that a strong focus on each specific expectation will help to manifest the very best outcome. And that's the second car I've done that with, and some other things. The thing is, you just have to have the belief that it is true. Hope, faith, and the knowledge that you deserve it and that it's true, and to cut out all the negative, whatever blank blank that's going on. So if we have faith in the outcome, faith along with the expectant mindset, that will pave the way. Because remember what Charles Fillmore said, faith is the certain knowledge that your good is on its way right now. So it's coming. We have lots of opportunities and tools to live a better life when we incorporate those great expectations. Now, another one of my favorite writers, Neil Donald Walsh, he says, our purpose is not only to know and express who we really are, but to create who we next can be. It is your function to recreate yourself anew in every single moment of now, in the grandest version of the greatest vision you ever held about who you are. And we are perfect, wonderful children of God. We just have to remind ourselves. So practice. At this point, to make my point, I say practice. Lots and lots of tools we have. Now here comes the fun part. Let's say all these wonderful manifestation and good things come true. And then we have the duty to pass it on and to share. How can we share some of our blessings that we manifested so that others can benefit? But I always think that's the fun part, because once you have nice things to share, that's easy, right? We can think of people that deserve of getting blessings and be absolutely delighted to be taken to dinner or have a donation or whatever that looks like, or just taking somebody on a ride in that wonderful car. It's not new, but to me, it's a new car. So we have so many tools to improve our lives through great expectations. So remember your homework, picture, lots of picturing, affirmations, and erase. If things go sideways, begin again. Okay, I want you to close your eyes, put your feet flat on the floor, and put your palms up. Take a deep breath, because now, my dear ones, it is spring. God, I'm creating a beautiful day today by choosing to let my light shine. Looking ahead to any tasks this coming week, I see myself aglow with an inner divine light. I am confident and at ease. Divine light emanates from me. Every thought I think, every word I say, and every situation I experience is another opportunity for me to enjoy this day in the consciousness and in my life. Immersed in God's loving presence, I am filled with confidence and great expectations. And so it is.